2026 is coming. Everyone's waiting for a fresh start because new year means new beginnings. But what if I told you there is a way to level up faster than everyone else? While they're waiting for the new start, you start now. So when the year actually begins, you'll already be miles ahead of them. We've got about 2 months left until 2026. And today, I'm gonna teach you 8 baddie rules to glow up in the most realistic and effective way possible. Of course, you can change dramatically in just 2 months, but you can build the habits and environments that make dramatic change possible. And if it doesn't work, come back and sue me. Hi, my name is Suin and I'm a pro at coaching the real baddie mindset. My job is to transform you from a pre-baddie into a real baddie. The longer you stay on this channel, the hotter, smarter, and more confident you become. Let's get started. Baddie rule number 1. End relationships that don't serve you. The first thing you need to do to be a hottie is break up with your boyfriend. I'm kidding. I'm not. If you keep complaining about your boyfriend but never actually break up with him, that's on you. It's your fault. You're literally making yourself look ugly. Hear me out, bestie. Did you know toxic relationships can actually make you physically ugly? Constant stress shows up on your face, it drains you, it ages you, it kills your glow. That's why every girl who lives a toxic relationship glows up like 10 times hotter after the breakup. Cause that man was sucking the life out of you. Post-breakup glow is real, guys. If you keep convincing yourself to stay, looking for reasons not to live, that's a sign you're not happy in that relationship. If you find yourself thinking, well, at least he's kind, that means you don't love him. You love kindness. You love the idea of kindness and you're forcing that quality onto him while gaslighting yourself. Because if you truly loved him and were actually happy, you wouldn't need to find reasons or convince yourself in the first place. End relationships that don't serve you. I went through a toxic relationship in my early 20s, and during that phase, I looked the worst. I was stressed all the time, I couldn't sleep at night, I was constantly arguing with him, I barely smiled, and my mindset was so negative. My skin got worse, and I just looked straight up ugly. Bestie, don't do this whole I can't live without him thing. You were born without him, so you can live without him. Right now, you might feel like the love you have is once in a lifetime dramatic love story, but to everyone else, you just look like someone who has nothing better to do. Who was that? Who said that? So walk away from people who drain you. And this isn't just about romantic relationships. Same goes for friends. Anyone. Remove their contact. Block them. Unfollow them. Bestie, time flies. 2025 feels like it just started, but now 2026 is already around the corner. Can't you see how fast time is moving? And you're still wasting your time and energy on people who don't even align with you. I don't care how long you've known them. 5-year friendship? A long-term relationship? It doesn't matter. If it's not working right now or it hasn't been working for a while, it's time to let them go. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to feel bad about it. You can't change people, People only change if they want to. If they wanted to, they already would. If your boyfriend wanted to buy you flowers, he would. If he wanted to plan a nice, fancy date, he would. If he truly wanted to see you, he would come to your place, no matter what. The fact that he didn't, that just means he doesn't want to. It means he doesn't love you enough to change for you. No need to be sad about it. Just realize he doesn't deserve you. And take it as a sign and get your gorgeous, perfect, fat ass up and walk away. Baddie rule number 2. Every relationship has an expiration date. Accept when it's over. Clear the space and make room for new connections to come in. Sometimes there's no fight, no drama, no big problem, but something just feels off. You don't feel as happy as before. You're not even sure if you really love them or if the relationship adds anything to your life. And that's okay. You don't need a bad reason to end a relationship. If it no longer feels joyful, meaningful, right for you, that alone is enough. It's totally okay to walk away when even nothing is wrong. Consistently clearing out relationships is so important in life. Think about it, bestie. Even the best laptop won't run properly if the storage is full. You have to manage the storage, delete the files you don't need, empty the trash. It's the same thing with people. If you keep holding on to connections that no longer serve you, your life gets messy. Clear the space, so new opportunities, new energy, and new people can come in. A lot of people, when they're about to end a relationship, start looking for reasons to stay. Because ending a relationship is hard. Finding new love is hard. But staying in the same relationship feels safe. And you know what? People, the human brain, love safety. It always tries to protect you and avoid difficult situations. So they'd rather stay in something that's comfortable than risk starting over. They'll say things like, at least he's kind. At least he says he loves me. But we've been together for 5 years. But the only reason you're trying to justify it is because deep down, you already know the truth. You're not happy in that relationship anymore. If you're truly happy, you wouldn't need to look for excuses. And here's the thing. Even holding on to expired relationship is still a choice you made. You can keep carrying it with you, sure, but don't think that time will magically fix it. It won't. Believe me, I made that mistake too. I kept telling myself, well, time will fix it, and I believed that for over a year, but nothing changed. So in the end, I had to make some decision. The only person who can change this situation is you. So here's the question. When you picture yourself 3 years from now and the same person is still standing next to you, how would you feel? Do you see your future self happy? Or do you see regret written all over your face? Make the decision today that your future self won't regret. I know it's hard to end a relationship, any kind of relationship. Walking away is never easy, but that's why leveling up is tough. It's not supposed to be easy. You have to do it for yourself. Short-term discomfort creates long-term comfort. Baddie rule number 3. Check your speaking habits. So this chapter is about the one thing I stopped doing to become the hottest version of myself. Saying, between sentences. You know how people are thinking or trying to answer a question, they go like, out loud? Yeah, I used to do that too. And I didn't think much of it because apparently everyone does it. But then my wake-up call was a YouTuber I watch. I love her content. I watch a lot of her videos. But she tends to say, pretty often. Sometimes it's like 3 times in just one sentence. And it got a bit annoying and distracting. That's when I thought, wait, do I sound like that too? And I remember this video once I watched on The Diary of a CEO with Vin Jang. He's a public speaking coach. He talked about the power of pausing instead of filling every silence with using filler words like no, I mean that's not maybe actually weakens what you're saying. But when you pause, it gives people time to think and process, and it makes you sound more confident, more clear, and it grabs their attention. So now I consciously try to pause when I'm talking to people in real life. And I think it's working pretty well. People tend to focus more on what I'm saying. And I also feel more comfortable and relaxed while I speak. The whole conversation just feels more powerful. But tell me guys, is it just me or does everyone kind of hate that sound? One of the best ways to fix this is actually filming yourself when you talk. Vin Jang recommends this too. Because when you watch yourself back on camera, you'll see how stupid you look and how much worse you actually sound than you thought. But that's the whole point. We need to see how bad it really is so we can train and improve our communication skills. I even recommended this to my friends, but most of them refused. They just hate seeing themselves on camera. So I decided, cool, I'll do it even more. I film myself at least 2 or 3 times a week. Because here's what I've learned. People avoid the hard stuff. I love doing what people avoid or are afraid to do. It gives me dopamine. If you watch my very first video from March, I guess, you'll see how bad my English and accent were. I was thinking of just adding some English subtitles, but I heard English sentence and some structures are different from Korean, so it might be hard for English speakers to follow along. My English might sound a little bit off sometimes, but I hope you can understand. But over time, my English, my speaking speed, the way I talk, everything got better and better. Every time I face a hard challenge head on, I grow the most. That's the formula of my life. So when a difficult problem shows up, yeah, it stresses me out, but it also kind of excites me because I know once I overcome it, I'll level up. And if there's a way to improve yourself and you still don't do it, that's your choice. You're just giving up your chance to get better. Baddie rule number 4. Baddie reports herself. Everyone knows journaling is one of the best habits you can have, but I feel like most people underrate it. They think, isn't journaling just writing about what happened today or how I felt? How does that even help with self-improvement? I used to think the same way. I think it's because of the image that comes with the word journal. It just sounds too simple, too soft. So I started seeing it differently. I don't even call it a journal anymore. It's more like a progress report on myself. Because when you call it a report, it suddenly sounds more serious, more important. So when I write, I don't just describe what happened. I write exactly how I felt in that specific situation and how I handled it in detail. And after doing that for months, I started collecting the real data about myself. Like, oh, that's how I react in this kind of situation. I tend to feel this way when this happens. This wasn't my best way to handle this. I'll do it differently next time. All that information builds self-awareness. It helps you step back and actually see yourself from the outside, objectively. People always say, I know myself, but that's the first mistake. Most people think they know themselves, but they don't. Sure, you might know your favorite music, color, fashion style, or your type in man, but do you really know your deeper emotions? Do you know why you react the way you do? Or how you behave when things get uncomfortable? Probably not. Most people never really think that deeply about themselves because it's uncomfortable to face that version of you. That's why when I journal, or how I call the Suin Kim report, I write with brutal honesty. I don't just write, oh, I bought a flower for myself today and it's so beautiful. I go deeper. I ask myself, why did I buy it? Why did I want to buy it? Did something happen in my life that made me want that flower? What color was it? And why did I find that color beautiful? I felt happy. What kind of happiness was that? Was it the feeling of taking care of myself? I keep asking questions like this, digging deeper and deeper. And that's how you start building self-awareness, by truly getting to know the real you. To be honest, I never liked writing. I always thought journaling was kind of pointless. I'd buy cute diaries, just writing a few pages and toss them aside. But recently, I started writing a little bit every single day. And it's wild. Now I can actually see where I am in life and what I'm really feeling. I've discovered parts of me that I didn't even know existed. And the more I understand myself, the more confident I feel. And that confidence, it shows. It comes out in my vibe, my energy, even my face. Ever since I started journaling, people keep complimenting me on how I look and the kind of energy I give off. So I really recommend writing a journal, or what I like to call a life report. Baddie rule number 5. Read your goals out loud. A lot of people make vision board or write down what they want, but very few actually say it out loud. I recently started doing this myself, reading my manifestation list out loud, first thing in the morning and right before bed. Those 2 moments are when your subconscious is the most open. Right before you fall asleep and right after you wake up, your brain is in that in-between state. And that's the perfect time for affirmations to stick. I saw this article about how saying positive words out loud can literally rewire your brain. The research showed that people who practice self-talk in the morning had lower stress, better performance, and a higher chance of actually reaching their goals. Repeating positive words activates the brain as if it were real. So when you say something like, Today is gonna be the best day ever. Your confidence rises and your actions start to match it. So I was like, alright, I'm doing it. And I mentioned this in another video, but I always say this thing. Only good things happen to me. Ever since I started saying this, I barely have to wait at red lights because it's always green for me. And even when it's red, it turns green in like 5 seconds. I always find a seat, even in the most crowded cafe. So yeah, I think it's working pretty well. Baddie rule number 6. Find something that excites you. For a long time, I didn't really have a hobby. I used to think it was just a waste of time. And I didn't even have anything I was interested in. But recently I realized life isn't just about pushing yourself and going. It's also about relaxing and enjoying it. So I've been trying new things, discovering new interests, and they've been giving me so much dopamine and energy. And when you feel that spark in life, your whole energy shifts. You start smiling more, thinking more positively, and feeling genuinely happier. And when that happens, you start to look more beautiful too. I think hobbies are kind of like seasoning food. They're not essential, but when you add them, they make everything taste so much better. Life works the same way. Hobbies aren't necessary, but with them, life feels more richer, brighter, and more fun. My only hobby was making music, but lately I've been exploring more. I've fallen in love with whiskey and perfumes, and diving into these new hobbies makes every day feels more exciting. Learning about something completely new gives me dopamine. If you feel like you don't have any hobbies or interests, maybe you just haven't tried enough yet. So try as many things as you can. Because if you don't even try, there's no way you'll ever figure out what you're actually interested in. It's never late to decide what you want to keep or what doesn't fit you. Make that choice after you've tried it first. Baddie rule number 7. Becoming unstoppable through action. Everything I'm saying right now, you probably heard it before somewhere. The thing is, in our busy everyday lives, we forget most of it. And no matter how powerful a quote or a lesson is, if you just hear it once and forget about it, it's useless. The real goal is to keep seeing it, keep remembering it, and keep applying it to your life until it becomes part of you. So every single day, I watch or read something related to self-improvement. Sometimes it's new. Sometimes it's the same video I've already watched 5 times. But I keep repeating it because repetition is how it sticks. And you don't even need extra time for this. Just play those videos while you're showering, cleaning, cooking, at the gym. Use those small gaps in your day. Then when a real-life situation comes up, you put it into practice. And that's the hard part. Turning theory into action is tough. But once you do, it becomes yours forever. It becomes your skill. For example, say you watch a video about having strong boundaries. Then one day, someone crosses yours. That's your chance to practice. Actually saying, no, this is my boundaries to that person. Or maybe you learned about prioritizing your time. Then when the situation shows up, you actually have to put yourself first. That means saying no to invitations from people you're not even close with. It means turning off your phone, not wasting time with people you don't even like, and protecting your energy and your time. You can't say yes to every single plan just because you feel bad turning it down. See? Most people already know these things. They know it's important to set boundaries, to say no, to put themselves first. But they don't do it because they're too scared, too worried about what other people will think. Only a few people actually turn theory into practice and make it part of their lives. Most people choose to be uncomfortable just to make other people feel comfortable, but it should be the opposite. And remember, your first try is always the hardest. Once you've done it, the next one feels easier. And if you keep repeating it for years, you become unstoppable. Baddie rule number 8. Shift your identity to fix bad habits. Growing up, my room was always messy. because I hated cleaning. Even if I cleaned it, I knew it would get messy again, so I didn't understand why I had to keep my room clean. I left it dirty all the time, and my mom always told me to clean my room. The problem is, even as an adult, I still didn't clean my room. One day, I looked at myself and thought, wow, this is pathetic. You are pathetic. So I made a promise. From now on, I'll clean my room once a week. But that promise never lasted. I always made excuses. I was tired, I was busy, dishes piled up, laundry piled up, and I couldn't understand why. I've successfully lost over 10 kilos. I've great self-control. I go to the gym consistently. After handling the hard things so easily, why can't I even solve something as simple as cleaning my room? Then I realized it wasn't about discipline. It was about identity. I never saw myself as a tidy person. Since I was a kid, I was always told, clean your room. So my brain just unconsciously accepted that I'm the kind of person who never keeps my room clean. So I started imagining the version I wanted to be. In that version, I always keep my space spotless. I do the dishes right after I eat. My closet is organized. My floor has no dust. And once I adopted that identity, everything changed. Now, cleaning isn't a boring task. It's just who I am. I don't need a full reset day to clean my entire room anymore. Honestly, this is the longest my space has ever stayed this clean. And it feels amazing. And there's science behind it too. A clean environment lowers cortisol. It boosts focus and self-control. And even improves sleep. They say your room reflects your state of mind, and it's so true. That's why so many successful people emphasize cleaning. So shift your identity first, then the actions will follow naturally. So today, I shared 8 realistic glow-up tips with you. 2026 is only 2 months away, and I truly believe that's more than enough time to build new habits and level up. So if you liked today's video, you might want to check out this one too. You'll love it. I'm also on Instagram and SoundCloud. I upload the music I write here, so you might want to check that out too. Thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Danke fürs Zuschauen und wir sehen uns im nächsten Video. Tschüss, tschüss!